So good afternoon everyone, myself Jyotirmaya, and today I am going to present this one of the interesting feature of HTML5, which is the offline feature of HTML5. I think all of you must have explored HTML5, right? The features which are available in HTML5 like your graphics, audio, video, CSS3 support, all those things, right? So this is another feature of this HTML5, the offline capability, how we can store offline data offline and we can reuse those data when user is offline. Even we can make a website work even when there is no network. So today's agenda of the session will be to explore this HTML5 offline applications, type of caching, the manifest file, what is a manifest file and how it is helpful in creating offline apps. Then the browsing events which are supported by HTML5 for this offline events. Then how we can store the offline data, the data storage capability along with the browser compatibility. So have anyone worked on any offline application or explored on any offline web application? No? Okay. So what is a HTML5 offline web application? What does mean by a web application? Offline web application. Now it is simply the website which can work offline whenever there is even when there is no network, and also it can store data so that it can be the same data can be presented to the user whenever the user is offline. So why we need this offline applications, offline web applications? Now mostly while traveling we don't have internet access mostly. So during that time, if we have a application which can run offline as well, then user can access that application and work on that application even when he is offline. So it might be while we are traveling, or while we might be in a place where there is no network connection, or there might be a buggy network connection. Okay, so few years back, I think there is a website called Rajnikant website. Have anyone heard about it? The Rajnikant website. So if you open that website, it works. Okay, if you are online, then it will say that this website will work only when you are offline. You are online, so that website will not work. Now, whenever you will disconnect from the network, the website will work. All the navigation, all the information you can access, just like you are accessing a normal website. But you are not in the network. So how that website is working offline? So it's quite easy to guess. Means whenever you are online and you are fetching, you put that address in the URL and run it, then initially it will cache all the data whichever is required and store it in your browser cache, and it will detect if you are online or offline, and accordingly it will show the message. If you are online, then it will not allow you to navigate through the website. Once you are offline, now the browser can detect that you are offline. The application detects that you are offline, and the application allows you to navigate through different pages or different sections of that website, and all those sections are already cached in the browser caching. So actually, at that website was built with not with HTML5. That was with I think Flash. That was built with Flash. Now, so nowadays we have HTML5 features through which we can do the caching, and we can run the website whenever we are offline as well. So this HTML cache can be divided into two parts. First one will be your application cache, and the second part can be your data cache. So each website, whenever you are building a website, that website is having two parts. One is your files, website files, just like your HTML, CSS, JS, or images, and then some data. It requires some data as well, so that which it is used to display it to the user. So we can cache those HTML files, CSS, images, and JS, which is called the application cache, and also we can store some data as well in the browser, which is called the data cache. So application caching. Now application caching means, as I have told you, it is the caching of the HTML part, the CSS part, images, and JS, means all the files. Now it is done by a file called manifest file. Now what is a manifest file? Actually HTML5 supports this attribute manifest. It is a file which in which we can define what are the files which we want to be cached in the browser while downloading from the server. So it can be defined like this. In the HTML tag, it can be defined as a manifest attribute, and we need to provide the path to that file, which is file name .appcache. The extension of the file is appcache.appcache. So the manifest attribute, which is supported by HTML5, where you can define the URL for the manifest file, and to make it work, so that to make the server know that this is a manifest file, the server should know that server should support the MIME type text/cache manifest. Then only the server will able to read this manifest file, appcache file. Now the manifest file format, it has mainly three sections: cache, fallback, and network. And it should start with the keyword cache manifest. And you can put comments as well. Comments can be put with the keyword hash, starting with hash. Now what is cache, and what is fallback, and what is network? Now cache means, here we can define the list of files which we want to be cached whenever we are accessing that website, so that those cached file will be used further whenever we are offline, or whenever we are next accessing that website second time. Then we have this fallback section. Okay, this fallback section will contain two parts. One is your request URI and cached page. Now it will define, let's say we have one image, or let's say we have some online resource which are required to run that website. Now if that online resource is not available, then the cached page, whatever defined here, will be run instead of this request URI. It will replace it, just like you are replacing, let's say if an image is not available, you are replacing the same image with no image available image, right? So it will work just like that. Let's say you want an online JS JavaScript, let's say your jQuery, which is let's say you are accessing from Google. Then also you have a jQuery already cached. So if Google is not available, means if the user is offline, then the cached JavaScript will be fetched. You can define here. Fallback section. Now network section, here you can define the resources which are required to be online to make this application work. Means those resources will be accessed always from the online, from the network, not from the cache. Okay, so if you can see, it will look something like this. Cache manifest, you can put some comments, then cache section. In cache section, you can define what are the files you want to be cached. It can be a relative path or the full path. Relative path means it will be the relative path to the manifest file. Now here I have defined, you can see this fallback section, I have defined like this /offline.html, means whenever, if anything is missing from that website, it will be replaced by offline.html. Now anything means here it will represent the HTML file only, since the replacing file is HTML1. So if any HTML file is missing, then it will be replaced with offline.html. Similarly for picture, if you can see here there are two sections. One is image profile display pic, the folder, image folder. If any image is missing from this display pic folder, then that image will be replaced with this dp.png. And in network section, if you can see, there is a file path, means this file is always required or always fetched from the network, not from the cache. And also you have also there is a star. Now star represents means any other file which are not defined in the cache will be fetched from online, not from the cache. Now let me
So if you have one question.
yeah.
Like in cache, you have to particularly need to specify the file name.
Yeah.
Like here you are saying CSS and then stream.css.
Yeah. Yeah.
So is it possible to say that cache everything inside this relative URL?
Yeah. If you will see, if here I have defined.
Like you want to cache all the CSS files.
Yeah. Let's say in CSS folder, yeah, let's say in CSS folder, you don't specify any path, any specific CSS, let's say in CSS folder, you have all the CSS files. Then what you can do is just put it like this.
And okay, this is for static files, right?
Yeah.
What about dynamic pages? For example, like nowadays you have user-friendly URLs.
Yeah,
It's a blog.
blocks, okay.
So you want to cache different blogs. Let's say you are reading a blog like offline access. So usually it's like some site.com/offline access/.
Yeah,
User-friendly URL.
okay.
Or might be blog/offline
Okay.
access.
Mhm.
There's no index.php or nothing. .html.
Okay, whenever you are accessing that site, that's some HTML, it must be generating some HTML resource, right? So that user can view it.
It generates the HTML resource, but you don't have a name.
Just like it follows the MVC pattern, or that we don't have any extension.
Yeah, you are saying that the URLs.
Let's say I want to cache all the blogs you have visited for offline access so that I can see or read it later. So is it possible?
First of all, you need to define somehow the manifest file.
Yeah.
The manifest file. Now, the manifest file you are saying.
Like in this way, if you are saying this will work,
Hmm.
then I can just give a slash. Ideally, you should cache everything whatever I did.
Yeah.
But is it true?
Means whatever files available, but see, dynamic means, okay, it will check whatever files available in that folder in the server.
It will download everything and just cache.
Yeah. Now your user friendly URLs / something, now there it is dynamic, right? It is passing some IDs or something else. Now for those,
At the end, it is static content.
yeah, it is static content. Yeah.
But you
But-
don't have a name
Yeah.
It will only work with HTML, not with PHP.
No, no, it will work with PHP. It will work with
Actually,
any.
it's not PHP, it's anything. No?
It will work with any web application which generates the HTML. So
Like here we are not, sorry, I said PHP, but let's just forget about PHP. I'm just talking about like even you can do the same thing with .NET.
yeah, I
User-friendly URL.
user-friendly URLs. Okay, if you are saying that if you will define a URL now, slash means the whole website. Now, yeah, any HTML content, anything that browser is browser.
Like I browse, let's say, 5 blogs, and I want to save it automatically for offline access, so that when maybe I'm traveling, I can see it.
Yeah, then I think
All these blogs are nowadays like user-friendly URL.
yeah,
There's no .php, .html, or anything.
yeah.
So how do we can?
So I think see each blog will have different URLs, right?
Yeah.
I think you need to define all the URLs here.
But if that is true, then ideally it should that slash, you can use slash. It should catch everything.
See, now
Because
with a slash,
blogs also dynamically generated.
yeah, dynamically generated. But see, each time if there is a slash, if the URL will remain same, it will fetch, it will cache only once. It will cache only once. And if you are saying that the URL will change, means if there is specific URLs for each block, then you need to define each and every specific URL in the manifest file. Else,
Slash blog slash
yeah,
offline access.
slash offline, up to slash offline, it will not work. Means if you fetch up to slash offline in the browser, whatever content will come, because those are content from the database, right?
That this browser doesn't care.
Yeah, only static one. So whatever resources available to the browser will be cached.
So you don't have to give a kind of index.html or anything.
Yeah,
You can just say blog, maybe the ID,
yeah,
and it will work.
yeah.
Okay.
It should work. I haven't checked, but it should work.
In that case, the next problem is that if that works, then how do we update this cache file with the latest blog array?
Yeah, yeah.
That
So
can be
that will come in my next section. Okay, let me first show you how this is working. Okay, so this is one simple web application, and here I have defined one index, one page 2. This is offline.cache, one JS, one image, and one CSS folder. Now let me open the file, especially the app cache one. If you can see the offline.appcache file, it will start with cache manifest keyword. Then you can define, you can put whatever comments you want. Then there will be a cache section to explicitly define the files or the resources which you want to be cached by the browser. It can be the relative path or full path. Now there will be a fallback section. Fallback means what the browser will do whenever it will attempt to access the uncached file. And then the network section, where you can define the URLs which are required online access to fetch those files.
That means what you are doing is not completely offline. It's in this mode.
Yeah.
Some files will be cached.
Yeah, means see, if you want everything to be offline, you can define all in cache. Now, in your application, let's say you want some resources to be cached, like JS or CSS or some images. Then you want something which needs to be dynamic. Let's say some JS file you want to be dynamic, or some CSS file you want to be dynamic. Then you can define it in the network section, so that it will not be fetched from the cache. It will always be fetched from the server. So here star means every resource which except this cache section and this fallback second part will be fetched from the network, from the server. Now let me show that to you. Here is the index file which I have defined, and here I have put this manifest attribute with the value offline.appcache, the file name, which will be used here. Now let me open this one. It is already opened, so let me clear the cache. Maybe here. Okay. Now first time it will load from the server. It will check the manifest file, and whatever resource which is defined to be cached will be cached in the browser. Now next time when I will refresh it, it will access all those resources which are already cached from the browser cache itself, not from the server. Now let me show that to you. In Chrome, actually it logs all the events, caching events. If you can see, first time when I refreshed it, it is first checking. First event will be the checking event. Now what checking event will do, it will check if there is already an if the application is already in the cache, it will check for the offline.appcache. Now if it is not cached, then it will start the downloading event, and it will download all the resources which are defined in the caching session and put it in the browser cache or app cache. And then on respective refresh, it will check the caching event, and if no update is fired, then it will not fetch from the server. It will fetch from the app cache. Now, okay, you are saying how we can update it. Let's say, okay, so this question will arise, means when let's say I have an offline application and every user has already accessed that. Now all the resources has already been cached in user browser. Now now whenever I am doing any update to my application, now my update will not reflect to the user browser until or unless the cache is cleared, right? Now, so there is another way as well. Updating the app cache. So it is quite easy. Only you need to update your manifest file. Once your manifest file is updated, it will again refetch all the caching files from the server. It will again fetch the cache files from the server and cache it to the browser. So whenever you update some HTML or CSS or JavaScript, you might not have anything to update in the manifest file, right? So in that case, what you can do is only you can update the version in the comment or put any comment, new comment. So let me do that. Let's say I will change some style or some text. HTML cache updated Now I have updated the HTML file. Now my application is already cached in my browser. So I'll refresh it, but there is no change in the user browser. Now I will go and in app cache file I will just change the version to 2.0, save it. Now I will refresh it. Something is wrong. Maybe I need to clear the cache again. Okay, it reflected. Now let me do the change again. Let me undo it, whatever changes I have done, save it, refresh, no change. Now let me change this to 2.1, save it. Yeah. So let me change something again in the HTML file. Let me remove this first image, save it. There are two images. I have removed this first one. Okay, initially it will not reflect since I have updated in the HTML file, but I haven't updated the app cache file. So let me update my app cache file to 2.2, only the version number. And refresh it twice. If you have seen, I have refreshed it twice to reflect the changes. Since for the first time, it will first cache the new data, then in the second refresh, it will reflect. It will not reflect on the first refresh. Actually, I've already talked about this DOM events, means the event which are getting fired whenever whenever there is any app cache or this app cache events, caching events. So there are 6 to 7, 8 events actually, which we can check while caching something. First, it will fire checking, then no update, downloading, progress, cached, update ready, obsolete, error. Now, okay, let me show that to you. Okay, actually in the console, you can easily find out. First, let me change something so that okay, actually in Chrome it is in the console we can see all the events. So let me refresh it.
I have one question.
Yeah.
Why it is taking so long to load the change?
Yeah, that's what I will tell you now. Okay, first let me go through these events. If you can see the logs, first it is firing the checking event. Checking event. In checking event, it checks if if the user has already accessed that application or not through that app cache, through that manifest file. Then if that is not found, then it will start the downloading event, the downloading one, and after downloading, the progress event is found, and the progress event is fired for each file which is being downloaded. For each file, the progress event is fired. Now at the end, whenever all the files are cached, it will fire the update ready event. Means the updates are already cached to the browser and they are ready to use. And in next refresh, yeah, so let me clear this log again and refresh it. Okay, now it will fire first the checking event, and in the checking event it will check if the application is already fetched or already accessed by the user. Now if it found out it is already accessed by the user, then there is no update event will be fired. And after this no update event, it will fetch all the data from the cache.
Like usually with normal cache, like
Yeah.
JavaScript,
Yeah.
we are not talking about HTML5.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it checks whether there is a modification, then download it, otherwise use the local cache.
Okay.
Simplified cache.
Okay. Okay. So that is also another.
But still, like, it will reflect the changes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But in this case, you are first time refreshing it.
Yeah.
It's checking, downloading everything, storing for you.
Yeah.
But it's not reflecting on the page.
Yeah.
It is off.
Uh,
Again, if you refresh, you will see.
yeah. See.
It already detected there is a change. It downloaded everything, stored it for you.
Yeah.
But there is no refresh.
So actually, what it does is, whenever you are doing a refresh, it will.
Check for manifest file.
Yeah, it will check for manifest file. Yeah, yeah. If there is any update in the manifest file, then it will fetch all the caching, means all the files which need to be cached, which are defined in the caching section. And again, it's.
Should show that because it detected there is a change. It should show the message change instead
No.
of showing to the earlier.
Yeah, yeah. So see, it shows the previous cached data, not the latest updated. Yeah, yeah. But here it is showing the previously cached data, not the latest one. But we can override that, which I will show you how to override that as well. So
I have a question.
yeah,
We have that manifest file on the server.
yeah,
We are updating it over there.
yeah,
Whenever we are going to refresh this page, it's going to check
yeah,
for that any changes have been made to that manifest file or not.
yeah.
So when we are doing a refresh, it's going to the server.
Yeah, it will only. Yeah, it is going to server. Yeah, it will check with the server manifest file.
So how come it's an offline application? Every time I am going to hit a URL,
If you are online, it will check for that manifest file so that it can refresh it, refresh the cache if required.
so if we are offline, then the checking event will not fire. It won't.
Checking event will throw the error that the offline file or the app cache file is not accessible from the browser, sorry, from the server. Then it will fetch all the data from the cache, from the app cache. That's how the offline application will work. Okay, so okay, let me go offline. If you can see. Now I am offline. Now let me clear this console. Now refresh this page. It fired an error. It fired an error, but the application is still running. You can see the data is still there. But okay, and another change, you can see that the image which was displayed earlier is replaced by this no image available image. Now let me show you the code. Okay, so here in the fallback section I have defined that if any image is missing, it will be replaced with image missing.png. Now in the index file, this image/appcache.png, image/appcache.png is not defined to be cached here. Here it is appcache image.png, but here it is appcache.png. So since it didn't find it, since I am offline, it is not able to fetch the online resource, the image, this one, appcache.png, which is not cached, which is not defined in the caching section. So it will always, in the network section, I have put it star, means whatever files or whatever resource which is not defined here will be fetched from the server. Now whenever I am offline, I am not able to fetch that image since I am offline. So as I have defined that, if any resource which is online, the image, especially this image slash, means the whatever image which is meant to be fetched from the server online is not available, then it will be replaced with image missing.png. Now image missing.png is already cached, so that is replaced with that image. So whenever you are offline, okay, it will not means able to check with the server with this appcache file if it is there or not, if it is already updated or not. Then it will throw the error, but the cache will be from the app cache, the application will be loaded to the browser. Okay, now another question you have mentioned that there is browser cache as well, right? So normally in your websites, all the JS, CSS, and images are cached to the browser. Now how that is different from this app cache, HTML5 app cache? Now the browser cache is not reliable, right? It is temporary. You don't know when it is going to be deleted from the browser, right? Now if you define this app cache will store in your browser until or unless you will manually go and clear the cache from the browser, or there is an update to the app cache file, manifest file in the server. So that is the main difference between your browser cache and your app cache. Okay, now actually I was talking about the events. Okay, these are all the events. Now let me show you how these events are working. Okay, so initially first it will check for the presence of manifest attribute whenever it is fetching or accessing a website. Then it will that means it is the checking event. First it will fire the checking event. Checking means it will check, have I seen this cache manifest before? If yes, means that is already cached. Initially it will be no, since first time you are accessing the website. Then it will fire the downloading event, and while after downloading it will fire the processing event for each file. Let's say there are five files which need to be cached, means the processing event will be fired 5 times for each file. So after all the files are downloaded, it will fire the cached event. Cached.
Can we add further something to the event?
Yeah, I can show you that as well. Now if I have already fetched the website, means it will say that I have already seen this manifest before. Yes. Now again it will check, has the cache manifest changed since last time fetched. So if yes, if there is any change, it will again fire the downloading event and processing event, and then it will say update ready event. Now if there is no change to the manifest file, it will say no update. Let me show that to you. Let me go online. As well, let me do some modification, or maybe let me first refresh it. Now since I am online, the image is available. It will fetch from the server. Okay, let me do some modification here. First in the index page, let me undo it so that I can see both the images. Save it, and in the JS file, okay, so you are talking about this events. How can we call or do something with this event? So you can add event listeners to these events, just like this. Here I have defined this app cache object as window.application cache, and then through this app cache object you can add event listeners, all these events: cached, caching, downloading, error, update, obsolete, progress, updates ready. So you can I have called this log event function as this event listener. So in the log event, let me I can alert here as well. Or console log, let's say. So this is Firefox browser. In Firefox browser, it doesn't automatically put those logs as in Google Chrome. So since I have updated something, okay, but now it reflected. Now let me clear it. Let me do some modification. The app cache, save it, 2.0, let's say. Okay, now let me refresh it. Okay, so if you can see, first it fired the checking event. So it checked with the server app cache file, sorry, server manifest file. So since I have updated the manifest file, means it will fire the downloading event. Then progress event for each file, which need to be cached. And at the end, update ready. But whatever updates are done, those will not reflect in the first refresh, right? So to overcome that, what you can do is, whenever you will find this update ready event, you can swap the cache and reload the page. So let me do that. So here in the listener function, what I am doing is, I am checking the event type. If it is update ready, then I can swap the cache and reload the page so that the changes will reflect automatically in one refresh. Okay, now let me go to this Chrome, refresh it. Okay, now let me change something in the index page. Let's say I will remove this one, save it. Now if I will go to browser and refresh it, it will not reflect since it is checking for the manifest file change, and since there is no manifest file change, it is not updating anything. Now let me change the manifest file here, 2.1, let's say, save. And refresh it. Maybe first time it cached that JS file, that's why it didn't reflect on the first time. Now let me undo those changes. In the index page and in offline app cache, update the app cache file. And refresh it. Still it is updating on the second refresh. Maybe I haven't saved it. JS updates ready. Saved. Still maybe the JS file is not cached. Yes, the JS file is cached. Application cache. Okay. Check the alert. Yeah, now it is reflecting. Okay, if I will change something now in the index, undo, save it. Anything, any change will work. Yeah, it will not check that version actually. It will check byte by byte if there is any change. let me refresh it. Okay, now the event is fired, loading new update. Okay, it reflected with the first refresh. In Chrome, refresh it. Okay, now it is firing, loading new update, and in first refresh it reflected. Since in the first, what I'm doing in JavaScript is I'm checking if the event type is update ready. Update ready means if there is any change, if there is any change in the manifest file, and after it downloads all the cache files, after downloading and processing events, it fires the update ready event. And if I found any update ready event, what I'm doing is I'm doing a swap cache, means the old cache need to be swapped and the application need to be reloaded, so that the changes will reflect on the first refresh itself. Okay, so you can see this DOM events again. It will check the presence of manifest attribute, which is checking event, and it will check, in checking it will check if it already see if it has seen that manifest file before, or it is the first time. If it is the first time, then it will start downloading, processing, and cached. Now if no, if yes, if already the application has been fetched, then it will check if there is any change to the manifest file since the last fetch from the browser, and then if yes, then it will fire no update event. Sorry, if yes, then it will again download the latest cache from the server. Again the same progress, and after progress it will fire update ready event. Now if there is no change to the manifest file, it will fire no update event. Yeah.
Basically, let's say in your version 1 manifest file,
Yeah.
you have defined index.html.
Yeah.
And style.css.
Okay.
And in the version 2, you are defining, like you have removed that index.html.
Yeah.
Now you are defining
Yeah.
gas demo.html.
Okay.
So is it going to delete index.html?
Yeah, it will remove okay. If it find any update to the manifest file, what it will do is it will delete all the already cached files, the app cache, which are there in the app cache, and it will download the latest one as per the latest manifest file and replace it. Okay, now while in offline you can also debug that application as well through your any developer tool which are available to the browsers. Now size limit of this app cache, that depends on the browser and some of the user settings as well. Some browsers allows unlimited app cache, and some browser has limits, like some has 10 MB, 5 MB, Chrome has 5 MB, but Chrome allows to store up to 100 MB, I guess. Firefox desktop has unlimited app cache size. Android browser has unlimited app cache. Similarly, in Opera, user can define how much app cache can be stored in that browser: 5, 10, 50, 100. Now the data cache. Okay, data can be stored as relational database. As you know, the I think all of you have heard about SQLite database, which is the HTML5 SQL database. And also it can be, data storage can be done through NoSQL databases like local storage and index storage. And also we can store data directly to the user machine or user system, which is called the file system. In a user file, which can be later we can fetch that file data through JavaScript APIs. That is called file system APIs. Now, first I would like to discuss about this local storage data. Okay, now there is also cookie, right? Cookie to store the data. Now, but there are some limitation in cookies, like cookies are too small, means you can store only 4K of data per domain for cookies, and cookies are limited. Like in IE, we can store maximum of 20 cookies per domain, and cookies are inefficient because those are always sent to the server through headers on each request to the server. So this local storage is a good replacement for this cookie. Okay, so this local storage or web storage can be divided into local storage and session storage. Actually, both are quite same, local storage and session storage, except the difference is local storage is getting stored permanently in the sense until or unless we remove it from the browser cache, or if we don't remove it from the by programmatically through JavaScript, the local storage will remain as it is, even if the browser is closed, and whenever you will open that application again respectively, then the data will remain as it is in your browser, the local storage. And the session storage, it will once you close the browser, the data will be lost. So this local storage can be stored key value, just like key value pair, just like your array, like this, local storage dot foo equal to bar. Then this foo will be the key and this bar will be the value, and you can fetch it like this, local storage dot foo. It will fetch whatever value is stored through this key foo. And same for the session storage, only difference is this local storage, local will be replaced with session. Session storage dot key value, key equal to the value, and you can fetch it like this. And this session scope is exist till the browser window is closed. Whenever it is closed, the session storage will be lost. Okay, web SQL, that is the that is your SQLite database, which we can use to store the data, just like you are storing the data in your MySQL database, and you can write queries as well. It will support all your MySQL queries or SQL queries to store data, insert data, delete data, update data. But problem for web SQL database is it is not supported in all browsers, especially in IE and Firefox. This web SQL is not supported. It is only supported in WebKit enabled browsers like your Safari or Chrome, iOS. Now index storage. Index storage, it stores the data as object stores, as JavaScript objects. But here also the problem is it is not supported by all the browsers, especially in WebKit browsers. This index storage is not supported. Your Safari doesn't support it. Okay, Chrome supports it, but Safari doesn't support this index storage. And file system API, it is still not supported by all browsers. It is only supported by Chrome. So as for today, the best option to store the offline database is your web storage or local storage. And here is the browsers which supports this HTML5 local storage. Almost all browsers starting from IE 8 plus, Firefox, Safari, Chrome, Opera, iOS and Android. And for HTML5 manifest, the app cache, it supports from IE on IE 10, and then Firefox, Safari, Chrome, almost all browsers, Opera, iOS and Android. For IE, it requires IE 10. Okay, that's all for this session. If you have any queries, questions? No.
During the session, we have already.
Yeah, you have asked all your queries, I guess. Okay, thank you. No, no. Any change means if you have, let's say, today you have on style.css and later on you have added another style file, CSS file, then you can add and you want that file to be cached as well.
So, in the checking system is scan all
Yeah.
manifest file.
Yeah.
If there is changing.
Yeah, if there is any change, it will again reload the manifest file along with the cache.
So where we put that manifest file?
Here,
Some configuration.
uh,
Time of configuration.
yeah, let me show that to you. In your, let's say, you have this website,
Okay.
and here you have index file. You can put here in the root itself, let's say offline.app cache.
In your domain root folder.
Yeah, in your root folder, and then you can, or you can create a folder itself for this app cache. Let's say app cache folder, and there you can put this offline.app cache file, and in your HTML file, sorry, in your HTML file, only you need to provide the path here for this manifest attribute. You need to provide the path.
So number of application files.
Okay. 2 minutes. I need 2 minutes. Yeah. So if there are number of files, let's say a page2.html file as well, and you want that to be cached as well, then you can provide that same app cache file here as well.
No, my question is how many app cache file?
One app cache, it always advisable to have one app cache file per domain.
Per domain or one?
Yeah,
app?
yeah.
Thank
You can have multiple, but good practice is to have one manifest file.
If I put two app cache files.
That will work as well. That will work as well. Yeah, there is no problem. But good practice is to have one only.
So every time if I modify any page, then I need to modify
Yeah,
the
do some modification to the app cache file so that the user app cache will be refreshed.
refresh. Need
Yeah.
to be refreshed.
Yeah.